place for quick summaries of movies with jaw-dropping twists. Let's dive in. The movie begins at a medical college where we meet a girl named Sona. She is searching through files for a case to base her graduation research on. She comes across a file about a patient diagnosed with a rare condition and decides to make it the subject of her research. However, when she takes the file to her professor, he rejects her proposal. Determined, Sona insists on pursuing the case. The professor explains that the patient, named Sanjay, suffered a head injury caused by a metal rod and now has temporary memory loss, meaning he forgets everything every 15 minutes. To cope, Sanjay documents his life by taking photos and writing notes on them. Sanjay starts recalling fragments of the incident that caused his condition. In one scene, he is shown killing someone, taking a photo of the act and writing "mission accomplished" on the photo. He then takes the victim's phone and retrieves a contact number for someone named Ghajini. As he remembers parts of the event, he leaves the scene just as the police arrive to investigate the crime. A police officer promises his team that he will catch the killer within 2 days. At that moment, a person arrives with his guards at the crime scene, or we know that this is one of his men tells him that this is the second one of our men to die. So he tells his men to reach the criminal before the police. Meanwhile, Sanjay returns home but has trouble finding his apartment. So he uses a notebook where he has written down the address. When he arrives, the walls of his apartment are covered with plans for revenge and details about his targets. In the bathroom, he finds a note on the mirror instructing him to remove his shirt. When he does, his body is revealed to be covered in tattoos of names and dates. He experiences a fit of rage and begins recalling strange events, including a girl in a gang attack. He finds a note telling him to review his photos and notes. Among them, he discovers a black photo with the name Ghajini and a question mark. Exhausted, he collapses and falls asleep. The next day, Sanjay leaves his apartment and coincidentally meets Sona at the hospital. She follows him and introduces herself, asking to talk. They sit down and she begins asking about his camera and the notes he writes. She inquires about the day of the incident, but Sanjay remembers nothing of what she is talking about. Frustrated, he tries to leave, but she insists on taking 2 photos together, one for him and one for her. She also asks him to write "my friend" on the photo. Meanwhile, during the investigation, the police discover that Sanjay is the criminal. A police officer finds Sanjay's apartment, hits him on the head to knock him unconscious, and begins exploring the space. He finds Sanjay's notebook, which contains notes written before his memory loss. As the officer reads, the story flashes back to events before Sanjay's condition. Sanjay is shown arriving on his private jet, determined to fulfill his father's dream of establishing the largest mobile company in India. We then meet a girl named Kalpana, who works as a model for an advertising agency. Sanjay and his team scout locations for their advertisements and come across Kalpana's house. They approach her to place an ad on her rooftop, but she refuses. Sanjay's team leaves their contact information in case she changes her mind. Kalpana's boss mistakenly assumes that Sanjay is in love with her and starts treating her with newfound respect. Surrounded by admiration for the first time, Kalpana decides to go along with the misunderstanding. Her boss even calls Sanjay's office, pretending to arrange a meeting between the two. However, when Kalpana calls, she only reaches one of Sanjay's employees, who warns her not to call again and threatens her. Despite this, Kalpana continues pretending to be in contact with Sanjay to maintain her newfound status at work. After she ended the call, everyone in the company started to treat her like a queen, or they hoped that she would raise the shares of their company, or through the advertisements that Sanjay will make, they will get huge amounts of money, and that was their belief. Then the manager came to her and asked her to meet the journalist who was coming to the company. He asked her to tell him about her love story with Sanjay. In fact, when the journalist came, she started telling him an imaginary story about them. She told him that he saw her at the airport and started begging her to marry him, but she still hadn't decided whether to accept or reject this marriage. The false story of Kalpana's relationship with Sanjay spreads, leading to a media frenzy that disrupts Sanjay's business. Furious, Sanjay decides to confront Kalpana. When he sees her leaving work on a bicycle and helping children cross the street, he is struck by her kindness and beauty. She tells him the fabricated story of their relationship, unaware of his true identity. Amused by her innocence and charm, Sanjay introduces himself with a fake name, Saj, and they exchange contact information. Kalpana later calls Sanjay to inform him about a job opportunity, and he visits her neighborhood to meet her. Seeing how beloved and generous she is, Sanjay grows closer to her, and they become friends. One day, her boss surprises her by inviting Sanjay to a special event so that he attends the celebration, and in this case, he will be able to promote his company and its advertisements on a larger scale. She gets upset because he did this without informing her, but he reassures her and tells her that nobody has seen Sanjay before because he always lives his life in America. Therefore, she goes and agrees with a a guy named Garson to take on the role of Sanjay. The training begins on how to act as a businessman. Meanwhile, Sanjay arrives and she tells him that the businessman Sanjay is with her. She takes the real Sanjay to meet the person acting as him and introduces him. At this point, Sanjay bursts into laughter at the waiter's acting, and Kalpana becomes frustrated with the situation she is in, not knowing what to do. She explains the whole story to him and says, "I did this to preserve the company's respect." He tells her that Sanjay decided to help her. He goes to the party, arriving in a very luxurious car, pretending he rented it. When he arrives, he approaches Kalpana in front of everyone. After the party, they return home by bus. Suddenly, Sanjay confesses his love for her. She is shocked and tells him, "I will think about it." Then she gets off and goes home. At this point, he starts thinking to himself, "If she agrees, I will tell her the truth." When the story ends and we return to reality, we don't know what happens next. This notebook contained notes from 2005, and he kept searching until he found the 2006 notebook. Meanwhile, Sanjay wakes up or breaks the chair he is tied to and attacks the officer. Sanjay manages to overpower him. At this moment, the alarm on his device rings, and the alarm reads, "Check the date and the murder location." He goes to the mentioned address, and due to his memory loss, he does not recognize Ghajini's face. When Ghajini enters, he takes a photo of him and writes his name on it. Sanjay called the number on the mod to confirm from Ghajini. He left the place where he was. He went to the garage and called him. But because of the chaos in the place, Ghajini gave the phone to one of his men. He made him answer the call. Sanjay told him, "I'm waiting for you in the garage." When Fagan left, his man attacked Sanjay and started hitting him until he made him lose consciousness. And in the meantime, Sanjay got a picture of Fagan and discovered that this man is not the same person. Fagan and his men arrived and shot Sanjay, but he was able to escape from them. Fagan asked the one who killed him before he died, and he told him that this was his enemy from 2 years ago or after this man died. And in the meantime, Fagan went and killed all the enemies he knew from 2 years ago. The next day, Sona went to Sanjay's apartment to visit him, and when she knocked on the door of the apartment, she was shocked that the door was open or that no one answered her. So she entered the apartment and was shocked by what was in it. She also saw pictures of the crimes that Sanjay committed, or she saw Fagan, or written on him was the date that he was going to kill her. So she went and started searching through his things. When she opened the closet door, the officer fell out and was tied. And when she removed the tape from his throat, he told her that Sanjay is a very dangerous person and they have to escape before he kills them. When they tried to go out, they were shocked by the presence of Sanjay, but he did not remember them. He asked them, "Who are you and what brought you here?" The officer tried to escape, but Sanjay started chasing him. And meanwhile, the truck in the street ran over the officer and the officer died. Then Sona went and met Fagan and told him that Sanjay is going to kill him and that she saw his picture and the date he is going to kill him. She also gave him his medical file. Then Fagan, the mother of the men who was going to kill Singhi, went to his apartment. Meanwhile, Sanjay was at Fagan's house to kill him, and he also saw Sona thinking about her picture that is in Sanjay's house. A friend suggested to her that she call Ghajini to get her picture that is in Sanjay's house, and in this case, she will avoid the police or avoid any problem that might happen to her. Indeed, she called Fagan's house, but the surprise was that the one who answered her was Sanjay. She did not wait for a quick answer, so she told him the matter and said, "I warned you about Sanjay, and I want the picture that is in her house." He asked her what was written on the picture, and also took her address to bring her the picture. Then he quickly went to kill her, but she hit him, and he fell on the ground. He quickly went up in the elevator, but she cut off the electricity and locked him in it. She called the police, and they came and took him. She decided to know the truth about Sanjay, so she went and opened the notebook that she took from her house the previous day. When she opened the first notebook and read the story, she was shocked by what she read. Then she decided to read the 2006 notebook. Now we go back in time a little, and we see Sanjay Kalpana on the second day. She agreed to his love, and before he confessed his truth, she told him that it was impossible for her to marry him before she fulfilled her dream, because she had promised her father before he died that her dream was to buy 3 cars and a house and to become richer than her uncle, who defrauded her father and took his money. She decided to help her without her knowing the truth, and in this case, their marriage would happen faster. The next day, Sanjay bought an apartment. Kalpana has a competition company, and they told her that she won an apartment with them, and they knew that this was the same apartment that Sanjay lives in now. She also sold her gold and bought her first car, and she was very happy with it. Then we see Sanjay calling her and telling her that he has to travel to the village for 2 weeks because his mother is sick and needs money. But in reality, he had a business trip abroad. She asked to meet her, and when he went to meet her, she gave him money and told him to treat his mother. We know that this money was her car money, and she sold it in the mood to help him. She also told him that she would travel for 2 days in the mood to shoot an advertisement. Here we see him on the plane writing his memoirs, and now we return to reality without knowing the end of the story. In another place, we see the police drugging Sanjay in the mood to control him. So they start calling the numbers tattooed on his body in the mood to know his identity. One of the numbers is a number that surprised me, and indeed, when he comes, he recognizes him and says that this is my friend. Meanwhile, Sanjay's men arrive and tell the police that he is the director of a company and that he is suffering from memory loss. His people are able to get him out of jail, and when they return to his apartment, they leave him alone. They were surprised, and his people went to the apartment, and Sanjay was unconscious. So he took advantage of this, so he destroyed all the tattoos on his body, and also destroyed and hid all the plans and notes that Sanjay had drawn in the apartment. In this state, they erased everything from his life and memory. In another place, we see Sona as she continues searching for the rest of Sanjay's story. She starts looking through all the newspapers and articles that published news of Kalpana 2 years ago. She saw the latest news that spread, which was that Kalpana criticized a group of girls and found a picture of the girl. So she went to the school where the girl was, and the girl started telling Sona about what happened. And now we go back to the train that she boarded on to film the ad. She heard a girl crying under the chair. When she went and pulled her out, she asked her, "What are you doing here?" The girl told her that they were 25 girls who were kidnapped and that someone took them and sold them to the gang. She was able to escape from them with difficulty. The gang was looking for the girl on the train. Kalpana went to the police who were on the train and told them what happened. They were able to arrest the gang and free the girls. After that, the news of Kalpana rescuing the girls spread. After investigations and medical tests, they found out that they were kidnapped by an organ trafficking gang. The next day, the policewoman called Kalpana and told her that 2 girls had disappeared. She also told her that there was a gang behind their disappearance. Kalpana got on her bike and went to the hospital and discovered that the policewoman was right. Meanwhile, Ghajini came and told her that the 2 girls mentioned her name in the investigation, so I killed him. Kalpana collapsed when she knew what happened. She goes back home crying, and when she returns, she gets a call from the policewoman who warned her not to return home because they are waiting for her, in the mood to kill her. She saw them already at the house. She went and hid in a dark place. Later, Sanjay appeared, bringing Howard and returning to her apartment. He wanted to confess the truth to her, but when he knocked on the door, she couldn't answer because she was afraid they would kill her. She called him in distress. He had left her device in the car. He thought she was still at work and hadn't returned to the apartment. He returned to her car, saw her calls, and called her. The criminals, hearing the phone ring, realized her location. She quickly told Sanjay everything. When he returned to the apartment, he saw her coming out of the room, telling him to run quickly, but he didn't respond to her. She whispered in his ear, saying, "Ghajini." When he hugged her, he saw a knife stabbed in her back. This scene kept replaying in Sanjay's memory. One of Ghajini's men hit Sanjay from behind on the head with a hammer, and he fell to the ground. At that moment, Kalpana tried to extend her hand to him, but Ghajini struck her with the hammer on her head, killing her. Meanwhile, Sanjay tried to reach her, but Ghajini hit him with the hammer, causing him to lose consciousness. When Sanjay woke up in the hospital, Suna entered, giving him a picture of Ghajini. She decided to help him get rid of Ghajini. She gave him his diary and decided to be his memory. Ghajini called, and Sanjay spoke to him, saying, "Your end is today." Ghajini hid among his men. Suna took Sanjay and introduced him to Ghajini. Sanjay left her and went toward Ghajini's men. He fought with them, killing them all. We then see Ghajini running away from the angry Sanjay. When Sanjay reached him, he saw him hiding and scared. Sanjay asked, "What's wrong? What are you doing here?" At this point, we learned that 15 minutes had passed since the incident, and Sanjay had forgotten due to his memory loss every 15 minutes. Ghajini exploited this, lying to Sanjay, saying, "I'm running from Ghajini because he wants to kill me." He begged Sanjay to save him, pointing to a corridor, saying Ghajini ran that way. When Sanjay looked in the direction he pointed, Ghajini picked up a metal rod from the ground and tried to stab Sanjay. But Suna arrived, shouting at Sanjay to warn him. Unfortunately, Ghajini stabbed Sanjay with the rod. He hit Suna, causing her to fall to the ground. He picked up a metal rod and moved it on the ground, mimicking how he had killed Kalpana. When Ghajini raised the rod to strike and kill Suna, Sanjay remembered the scene of Kalpana's murder. Quickly, he pulled the rod from his abdomen and struck Ghajini with it. He then took the rod and killed him in the same way Kalpana was killed. In the end, Sanjay managed to avenge her. After some time, we see Sanjay dedicating his life to helping others. Suna stayed with him forever. He began to imagine her as Kalpana, and she became his memory. Whenever he forgot, she brought back his memories. The police learned of his condition and decided to let him go, considering he had avenged his beloved's death. Thus,